Good afternoon. My name is Marjorie Paterson, and today I'm going to do my IT project presentation on why information systems projects fail, guidelines for successful projects, as told in an article by Awatif Amin Quazim. Ms. Quazim started her article with a quote from His Majesty Qaboos bin Saad that he wrote in 2007. And which is still true today. He wrote, "The culture 50 years ago in the world was totally different from that of today, which means it is still changing. So we have to keep abreast of the changes and receive what is best from the culture, but at the same time refrain from what is not useful. The most important thing is that we have to follow a new culture of technology and information, and we know that to be true even today." Even though Ms. Quazim's article is about the failures of information systems projects, she gives us the tools we need for success. And she discusses this by she did her research by looking at a number of surveys and reports from around the world. She looked at the Robbins-Goa survey, the Conference Board survey, the KPMG Canada survey, the Chaos report that we have looked at in this class, the OASIG survey, and the Sawyers Group report that came out from Great Britain in 2003. And what she found was that the larger businesses have majority of the failures, while the small to medium-sized businesses are finding much more greater success, but there is still a number of failures in the IT project business. So what her surveys and reports showed was that if the project has a lack of top management commitment, then the project was doomed for failure. So we have found that top management commitment is the most important thing when doing an IT project. And the reason she found was that information systems are growing rapidly. As we know, everything in systems, something comes out new every day. The demand from around the world is increasing. But with all of that happening, majority of businesses still have at least one project on tap. And the biggest problem is that majority of these projects end in failures. And she found this especially true to be happening in the Middle East. She looked at the surveys and reports and all the information that she could gather in the Middle East. And what she found was that even though her colleagues were using the methodology and procedures from other information technology, there was still a large number of failures. Some reports did cite different reasons for failure, but the number one reason was the support from top management throughout the lifetime of the project. So she came up with 3 simple stages and a number of actions to take during each stage. And they were what you do prior to a project, what you do during the project, and what you do after the project. Now, prior to selecting a project, one should do a SWOT analysis or a pest analysis. Then we should align our business with the ICT strategy. And something that we already said that needs to be done throughout the lifetime of the project is ensure management buy-in, ensure project team have the required skills and knowledge to run this project. Break down the project into manageable components. Construct the project's product to be flexible and open to future change. Make use of previous experience. Establish a clear criteria for supplier selection. Carry out detailed costing and establish a feasible project budget. That's what we talked about before, about doing a good estimate. And then maintain communications at all levels. Now this you will find is another one that needs to be done throughout the lifetime of this project. And boost the awareness inside the organization of the project. Make sure everybody knows. Make sure everybody's on board. During the project, adopt a good project management strategy. Create risk plan and monitor it. Establish timetable to give users enough knowledge to accept new system. Establish documentation standards and backup strategy. And again, ensure that management is still buying in on it, and make sure that you keep the communication level up. And during this, you also want to make sure that everybody's aware and on board with the project. After the project's execution, make sure and do a periodic review. Don't just do a project and leave. Once it's live, make sure that you do reviews, and always make sure that management is still there and that you are communicating to everyone throughout that is using the project. Once you have top management support, they will offer their money, the staff, and the time. And while these three things don't guarantee you success, it will give your project a better chance of success. So with all this information that Ms. Quazim collected from around the world, looking at the surveys and reports in the USA, the Middle East, the United Kingdom, and even Canada, on the risk ranking report, the number one risk is lack of top management commitment. On the WISE improvement factor, what can be improved? Number one, greater top management support. And lastly but not least, on the Chaos 10 recipe for success, the number one reason for success is executive support. So as we have learned in this class, that if we take the actions that are needed before, during, and after executing, before, during, and after a project, IT project, that if we have management support throughout the lifetime of the project, then you can expect to have greater success. Thank you. The end.